Esteban Ocon eyes the second Mercedes seat after splitting with Alpine confirmed. Ferrari reveals design change inspired by Adrian Newey, and George Russell gives an interesting opinion on Verstappen's future. Before getting into the video, do consider subscribing. Let's get straight into the latest F1 news. Esteban Ocon, who will be leaving the Alpine team at the end of the 2024 F1 season, seems to be interested in taking Lewis Hamilton's place at Mercedes for the 2025 season. This is suggested by Ocon's comments to the media, including PlanetF1.com, during the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix last month. Ocon achieved his first Formula One victory while racing for Alpine at the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2021. He has also secured podium finishes at the Sakir Grand Prix in 2020 and the Monaco Grand Prix in 2023. While confirming his departure from Alpine, Ocon stated that he will soon announce his plans for the 2025 F1 season. There have been rumors linking him to teams like Haas, Williams, and Audi, who will take over the Sauber team in 2026. Ocon initially joined Alpine, known as Renault at that time, in 2020 after being Mercedes' reserve driver in the previous season. He had been a part of the Mercedes Junior Academy and enlisted Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team boss, as his manager back in 2015. Earlier this year, seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton announced his intention to join Ferrari starting from the 2025 F1 season. This decision leaves a vacant spot alongside George Russell at Mercedes. Recent reports from PlanetF1.com shed light on Mercedes' plans for 2025. They revealed that Carlos Sainz, whom Hamilton will replace at Ferrari, is not being considered to partner with Russell. Instead, Mercedes is keeping an eye on Max Verstappen's situation at Red Bull. Should Verstappen be unattainable for the 2025 season, Mercedes is believed to be considering Andrea Kimi Antonelli as a potential replacement for Hamilton. Antonelli, who is only 17 years old, is a highly talented junior driver for the Mercedes team and has recently begun an extensive testing program to prepare for a potential F1 seat. During an interview at Imola, Ocon appeared to express his interest in being considered as a potential replacement for Hamilton. He emphasized that he still considers himself a Mercedes junior driver. Ocon said, "In my mind, I am still a Mercedes junior. The management aspect has remained unchanged since 2015. We are discussing various options, and we will determine what is best for my future." Before his departure from Alpine was finalized, Ocon admitted that he is open to both long-term and short-term options. He stressed the importance of resolving his future quickly since he was left without a seat for the 2019 season after leaving Force India. He explained, "Certainly there are many things happening behind the scenes. I am not only looking for a long-term deal, but also short-term options. Things can change rapidly in Formula One, but it is crucial to secure a position as early as possible, which has always been my goal. I don't want to experience a situation like the end of 2018 again, which was not a pleasant memory. It had nothing to do with my performance. I believe I have been performing well this year and throughout my time in F1, so I believe I deserve a place in Formula One. We'll see. At the moment, my full focus is on this team, and I am fully dedicated to it. I have been involved in this project for years, and that is very clear. However, being without a deal in Formula One can be quite uncertain, and it is not a situation I have ever enjoyed. So, the sooner it is resolved, the better it will be." Ferrari is planning to change the design of their front suspension for their 2025 car to resemble the style used by Red Bull. They are reportedly looking to hire Adrian Newey, a renowned design expert, in an effort to achieve this. While there have been whispers of secret meetings and visits to Maranello, no official confirmation has been given. Eddie Jordan, Newey's manager, asserts that no decisions have been made yet. However, this hasn't deterred Ferrari from hoping and potentially preparing for Newey's arrival. Motorsport.com suggests that Ferrari's designers have already grasped certain crucial aspects that could greatly benefit their 2025 car, making a significant difference in their battle against Red Bull and McLaren. One area of interest for Ferrari is the potential switch to pull rod front suspension, a configuration already utilized by Red Bull and McLaren. This design offers aerodynamic advantages by improving airflow around the front of the car and enhancing the performance of the Venturi tunnels underneath. Ferrari's pursuit of a more Red Bull-inspired front suspension also ties into their ongoing efforts to secure Adrian Newey's services for their 2026 car, once he becomes available in early 2025. In the meantime, drivers Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz will have to rely on incremental improvements, as significant changes are limited due to budget constraints. Whether Ferrari chooses to implement small incremental updates or opt for more substantial changes like they did at Imola may also depend on the upcoming race calendar. Team boss Vasseur explains that the budget cap necessitates finding a balance, bringing updates only when they offer significant advantages. He further emphasizes that the current development rate is slower than in previous years, leading to smaller performance gains with each upgrade. In this context, the gains achieved through car setup adjustments become increasingly vital. Considering the logistical challenges, Vasseur suggests that it is more sensible to introduce new features over the course of 2 or 3 races. The specific sequence of races on the calendar and the presence of sprint weekends also factor into this decision-making process. Ultimately, debuting upgrades in Monaco or during a sprint weekend carries a degree of risk that Ferrari must consider. Simone Resta, after spending 23 years with Ferrari, is looking forward to new horizons as he transitions from the red team to the silver team Mercedes. While Mercedes personnel changes, such as the notable signings of Lewis Hamilton and Loic Serra, have been making headlines, they continue to strengthen their workforce with Resta's arrival. Having been a long-standing member of Ferrari, Resta has made significant contributions over the course of his more than 2-decade tenure, including stints with their customer teams Alfa Romeo and more recently Haas. His career at Ferrari began in 2001 as a senior design engineer, eventually earning the position of chief designer. He then worked at Alfa Romeo and Haas before returning to Ferrari. In March, Mercedes announced the signing of Resta as their new strategic development director, and May 31st marked his final day at Ferrari, which he acknowledged on LinkedIn. With sincerity, he expressed gratitude to all who believed in him and the loyal fans who have provided unwavering support throughout the years, bidding farewell to his time at Ferrari and looking onward and upward. Reportedly, Resta will take up his role with Mercedes in 2025, following a period of gardening leave. When he arrives in Brackley, he will encounter some familiar faces, including James Allison, who previously worked at Ferrari from 2013 to 2016, and Enrico Sampo, who served in the Scuderia's simulator department. Sampo is joining Mercedes as the head of performance software applications. Toto Wolff, the team boss of Mercedes, recently discussed the personnel changes, mentioning the departure of chief aerodynamicist Gioacchino Vino, while welcoming other new additions from rival teams. Expressing his optimism, Wolff emphasized the team's positive position, having achieved 8 consecutive championships before facing some challenges. He acknowledged the human element and mentioned that some team members chose to leave while others were let go, but they are also bringing in fresh talent. With James Allison's leadership, he serves as an inspirational figure for the team, driving motivation, energy, and competence, which, in Wolff's view, puts Mercedes on an upward trajectory. George Russell doesn't oppose the idea of Max Verstappen joining Mercedes, but he wouldn't be surprised if Verstappen took a break in 2026 to assess the teams and the new power units. Although Verstappen has a contract with Red Bull until the end of the 2028 season, there are suggestions that he may not stay for the entire duration. Is it possible that Max Verstappen could take a sabbatical in 2026? Verstappen has been linked to Mercedes, especially because Toto Wolff, the triple world champion, has publicly shown interest in him. It is reported that Verstappen is considering his options, but not for 2025, rather for 2026. In 2 years' time, Formula One will introduce modified cars and a new engine formula, as the sport transitions to fully sustainable fuels and increased electrical power. The last time Formula One introduced new engines was in 2014, when Mercedes emerged as the dominant force, outperforming Red Bull with their Renault engine and ending the Milton Keynes team's 4-year reign as world champions. Since history has a way of repeating itself, Russell believes that instead of moving to Mercedes in 2026, Verstappen might take a year away from the sport to observe how this lottery unfolds. Russell told the Daily Mail, "I wouldn't hesitate to compete alongside Max, nor would I hesitate if he were to join our team. I faced the greatest driver statistically of all time, in terms of qualifying and racing, when I joined Mercedes, and I performed well against him. That's all I can do," Russell added. Max could take a break in 2026 and see which team comes out on top. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. Remember, 2026 is uncertain, so we truly can't predict what will happen. Regarding his own future, Russell is clear about his ambitions. He wants to become a world champion, preferably with Mercedes. I am a loyal person, and Mercedes has given me an opportunity, but my goal is to be a world champion. We're not there yet, he stated. But consider that just a year ago, McLaren was the slowest team, and now they are the fastest. Meanwhile, Verstappen was asked about his future by the Guardian newspaper, to which he replied, "It would be amazing to finish my career here at Red Bull. Staying with one team for so many years would be incredible." He further emphasized his loyalty, saying, "I am someone who values loyalty, and it means a lot to me. It's something I expect from the team, and so far they have been great in that regard. I hope to maintain this for a long time." Fred Vasseur has dismissed any suggestion of dissatisfaction with Carlos Sainz when asked about the Spaniard's mindset since Charles Leclerc took over as Ferrari's lead driver. Sainz showcased his talent in the early races of this year, achieving 3 podium finishes, including a victory at the Australian Grand Prix. Despite undergoing an appendectomy just 16 days prior to the Melbourne race, the soon-to-be departing Ferrari driver earned praise for his outstanding performances. This led to discussions about whether Ferrari made the right decision by choosing Leclerc over Sainz. However, in the last 4 Grand Prix events, Leclerc has reasserted himself as Ferrari's primary driver, outscoring Sainz by 79 points to 53. As the current runner-up in the Drivers' Championship, Leclerc trails leader Max Verstappen by only 31 points following his triumph at the Monaco Grand Prix. Sainz, who finished third that day, lags behind by an additional 30 points. At a time when Sainz is still mulling over his Formula One future, with rumored options switching from Red Bull and Mercedes to Audi and Williams, the Italian media inquired about his state of mind from Vasseur, his team boss. In response, Vasseur stated, "I believe Carlos maintains the same approach he had when we unveiled the car in February. He is a consummate professional, and his initial reaction was, 'Okay, Fred, it's a challenging decision, but let's give our all until the final corner of the last lap of the season.' He is an outstanding professional, fully dedicated to his work, and I am confident that his contribution will remain consistent until the end of 2024. I am truly pleased with Carlos." The recent victory at the Monaco Grand Prix means both Ferrari teammates have secured a Grand Prix win this season, making the Italian team the only outfit to achieve this milestone. With their upgrades in Imola, Ferrari now sits just 24 points behind Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, offering hope for a potential title battle. However, Vasseur opines that this represents not so much a turning point as a step forward. In terms of focus, I don't think much changes for the team. Everyone is performing well, and our concentration remains unwavering. We are well aware of our objectives and the path we must follow to achieve them, he remarked. He continued, "Simultaneously, I believe Charles's victory in Monaco can boost his self-confidence. He had been eagerly awaiting a victory at his home race for several years and had experienced a significant drought before winning. Triumphing always raises self-esteem. While I cannot say if it will be a turning point, I do believe it represents a noteworthy stride forward. Nonetheless, we must not alter our approach simply because we achieved good results in Melbourne and Monaco. We have a comprehensive plan, we are advancing the development of the car, and we are aware of the incremental improvements we need to make. This approach must be maintained. Whether we achieve excellent results in Monaco or less favorable ones in other weekends, our plans remain unaffected. Stability is of utmost importance. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. See you in the next one.